Hey everyone, it's so lovely and incredible to see all of your beautiful faces here on this the 14th, this Valentine's Day, which I hold as a self-love day and as a friend love day and as a family love day. And so it's really so beautiful for y'all to be here celebrating this incredible occasion. For me, this is very much a dream of dreams coming true. And I never imagined that it would be filled with so much love and generosity and beauty. So thank you all. So I thought that we might begin with, I guess, a little bit of an introduction to the book. And so I wanted us to start at the epigraph, which is from Sylvia Plath de Beljar. So I'll read it. I thought I would swim out until I was too tired to swim back. As I paddled on, my heartbeat boomed like a dull motor in my ears. I am, I am, I am. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the bell jar. So if you don't want to hear, I suggest covering your ears for the next 30 seconds. But in this quotation, Esther, the protagonist and the narrator of the novel, is attempting to drown herself. And so the swimming out is very literal. And the heartbeat, the boom, the I am, I am. For me, it holds persistence and kind of bodily possibility. So in this quotation, the mind, the body, the engine is attempting to drown itself, but the heart resists that notion, it persists. The heartbeat booming like a dull motor in my ears, a heart that is tired, that is worn, but persists. And for me, I thought to begin the book with this quotation because it's so significant to me, but also it kind of creates space for the rest of the book to happen. So at the conclusion of the bell jar, there's this moment of deliberation where she's been institutionalized after several suicide attempts, and the board of the institution is kind of deliberating on whether she's going to be let out of the mental institution, and the book ends there. And I thought that this, in interlocution with that book, could be a space where my poems begin after that moment of deliberation. Yeah. And as well, it feels important to say that another reason why that title or that epigraph is so significant to me is that I myself do and have struggled with suicidality and other kinds of trauma and violence. And so ever since I kind of picked up the bell jar, a thing that I do is I'll say, I am, and remind myself that I'm alive and that I have possibility and futurity ahead. And so the next poem is Rosenberg's Reprieve. A little bit of context. So the Rosenbergs, Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, were executed by the United States government for espionage and essentially for leaking nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. And so this poem imagines a reprieve for them, but also like a reprieve for them by way of my own or the speaker's own body. And so there's this kind of reckoning with the body as also a state apparatus or a subject of state. Rosenberg's Reprieve. In the final hour of memory, my elocution elides its voltage. Like a misuttered current, my bright does not slay the hands, tongue, or rattle the spine into loose particles. Little lights clap on and on, darken me sweet as the night sky. Dear sky, thank you for holding gently this occasion of collision, syzygy, and the wide wonder of stars burning their light. For this, tonight, I will let stay my murmuring willow heart. For grace, for grave. I paint my nails in blue heaven's soft colors. the way a beast might saw its claws to dust the doorstep of spring, shed teeth, shorn beak, laid down like an old blade begging for flowers instead. Call it burial if it means I am becoming soil. If I am more killable this way, more human too. This prey in cropped cloth, this prey with no sharp. This way to the cat call, this way to the plucking, thick paws around the bird neck, squeeze, squawk, squeeze. This way to the meat, this way to the beasts who do not ask permission or forgiveness. I begged forgiveness in my beakless way, lain out in a bed of snow, spread eagle wide as surrender. I'm going to take a pause and actually kind of re-begin just to say thank you so much. I thank you all, but I also specifically want to thank Jessica, Chi, Anastasia, and Sarah for organizing the event. Dearest Aishin, thank you so much for being here and for that incredible introduction. And for holding so brilliantly the kinds of polls that I find in my body of Baltimore and Jamaica. I really, really appreciate that. As well, I wanted to thank Buffalo Street Books for having us. And the LGBT Resource Center for sponsoring the event, Elena for sponsoring the event, and Marty as well for assisting so much. And I wanted to give a kind of special additional thank you to my MFA family. So I'm going to read actually from the gratitude section of the book, and then we'll jump back into the poems. Thank you, MFA sisters, Chi, Jessica, and Anastasia, for multiplying me by you and you and you. Tremendous breath and steps we are, remaking atmosphere and geography with radical, ethical generosity, love. Brilliant, we women of color, the future with futurity. Thank you, MFA aunties, Jasmine J, and Christina. Big brilliances you are, ambient future tenses. And this is, the last part is for them, and it is for everyone that I call a friend. For me, when I say that these folks are my sisters, that they're my family, it's not a metaphor. Like it's incredibly literal that y'all are my actual family. Y'all are my actual sisters. And I love you so much. I don't know that I would be here right now if not for y'all. So thank you so much. And to all of my family, all of my friend family, thank you all for being my family stronger than gravity. So the next poem that I'm going to read is To the Lords of This Land. And a little bit of context. So it continues in like a direct address to the state apparatus. And for me, in terms of like the genesis of the poem, I lived in New York and Brooklyn for the writing of this whole book. And at the time, in the genesis of this poem, I was taking a workshop at Cave Canem, and I would have to take the L train to Broadway Junction and then transfer or the A to Broadway Junction and transfer the L back to my stop. And there was this group of black men there who were dressed in all white, and they would be there like every Tuesday, and they were proselytizing very loudly and boldly. And then whenever I would show up, they would start to like kind of, in addition to their like the end is nigh, like black people, we need to like pull ourselves up by whatever, they would start to kind of like blame queer black people and trans black people for being like detriments to the race and for holding us back. And then kind of they would very plainly say that we shouldn't exist. And that was really difficult for me. It made me very angry, but also it made me feel kind of powerless, because I wanted to fight those views, of course, but I couldn't. And so rather than writing a poem to them, I thought to write a poem to the kind of larger oppressive architectures and structures and landlords, this feudal system, which are kind of making these hate actions possible. To the lords of this land. In America, every day I am trying to grow into cold light. You kill us in your imaginations, old neurons, fire and fire. In your minds, I am a departure-sized hole, and you say, jump, conclude into your plot, while my sisters hold warmly my dirt. Stamen and pistol, I am eagerly sunward, my face easterly, I heliotrope at night, and wait. You set the sun continuously, stretching dawn into a horizon. Finally, I flower in the dark. See, I am a night blooming jasmine. You shroud the moon and claim night blindness. By any means try to kill the idea of me. When I say I was born in the wrong body, I mean I am stranded in a death throw you project like a limb. My flesh is neither false nor phantasm. How fossil you are in the face of possibility. I won't be diametrically soiled. There's world under world. The stars are not hereditary, nor are they sufficient. What light could name my raying swarth? I am the alternate ending, Deus Ex Nigrum, a hole in the present, pollinating the future, green world without you, the dead language, how I know. P.S. The land says, the only cost of living is living. And that's actually the poem that generated the title for the book, Deus Ex Nigrum, which literally translated means God out of the black. It's very much a play on Deus Ex Machina, which is a kind of a grand magical solution at the end of a plot that solves a previously unsolvable problem. And so I thought about that, and I thought about shifting the genesis of the God from the machine, the machina, to the black body, the blackness, space body. And this book could also be called Alternate Ending in that sense. The next poem I'm going to read is called Brooklyn Mid-Fall. It's a contrapuntal, which means that there are 3 poems in one poem. So the left column is a poem, the right column is a poem, and then if you read across, it's also a poem. And it's the only one of these that I've completed, because you have to write it in 3 dimensions, and you'll be constantly writing 3 poems at once. Every shift you make affects three different places, or 3 different possibilities. And so it's very challenging, but I'm very happy with that kind of effort of writing this poem for 3 years. Brooklyn, and so I'm going to read the left column, the right column, and then I'll read across. Brooklyn Mid-Fall. Against gravity and season, rush skyward, swipe, click, turnstiles rain bodies that crack, a threshold, seconds from closing, hands reach, swell space in an open seam. Train over the East River traces its arc. Destiny, a nation of ruptured glass, the skies darkened, churning reflection. Then body just wants to pour into something so vast it is no place at all. Rows of three-story brownstones in shades of rose, peach, clementine, sky, earth seeds in and grows a garden blues. Some jealous seas expelling green, demanding green, like any black callous from the daily labor of living to a stone. Brown hands cascade to the home that is outside of whiteness, which is to say no place at all. Against gravity and season, rows of three-story brownstones rush skyward in shades of rose, peach, clementine, sky, swipe, click, turnstiles rain bodies that crack, earth seeds in and grows, a threshold seconds from closing, a garden blues, some jealous seas, hands reach, expelling green, demanding green, swell space like any black in an open seam, callous from the daily labor of living, train over the East River traces its arc to a stone, destiny, a nation of ruptured glass. Brown hands cascade to the sky's darkened, churning reflection. The home that is, then body just wants to pour outside of whiteness, which is to say, into something so vast it is no place at all. The next poem I'm going to read is called Fishnet Monster is Seen for the First Time in Harlem. And a number of these poems follow directly from experiences of like street harassment and other kinds of like violent humiliation that I described earlier. And so this is based on a very literal experience of mine, in which I'll just let the poem explain the narrative, but I guess as preface, something that interested me to follow in the writing of this poem was holding the kinds of monstrosity that I was being that was being projected onto me in my body. So, right, there's a sense that like the monster is not actually the figure, the monster is not actually the body, the monster is the idea of the monster, and the monster is the repository for the kinds of fears and other things that the larger society doesn't want to deal with or understand or hold, and so they're projected onto oppressed others. And so I wanted to follow that monstrosity and to follow it into a kind of to give a further dimension and voice and autonomy to this kind of monstrous figure that was being projected onto me. Fishnet monster is seen for the first time in Harlem. Fishnet, monster on the 6 train, even the East River couldn't swallow, birthed in the attempt and spat out a misshape of colors and human clothes, trick of dark skin and can't explain itself, don't look like nobody's child but the sea's. Black boy on the 6 train, never seen a fish with human lips, looks to his mother and points, bloodies, the pop-eyed windows to ugly fishnets, ugly thoughts. Trains collide at childhood, mouth a gash. Black boy's eyes moon up and pull the ocean from fishnets, fur matted face, legs, chest. The boy, though, his black naps spiral and swirl, spiral and swirl. Suck even the memory of water from gills. Fishnet freak flailing, no sound, mouth a gash. Black mother says nothing. Not her monster to love into a person. Not her ship hung. Not him. Salt water, fishnet, black sea, hair. Snakes and dead flowers. Fishnet wants to cry, but their distributary bare. Can't go back, don't work. Black boys, mirrors, sus. out. I'm going to move into some love poems now. In my original drafting of the list of poems to read, there weren't any love poems, and I was like, oh, that's a grave error, we gotta fix that. Although all of the poems are self-love poems, so. Yes. So instructions for the moon. The moon comes to hold many different relationships for me. It's a very multivalent body. And sometimes it's a kind of mother figure or a sister, or an interlocutor or a goddess. But in this poem, I imagine the moon as a lover. Instructions for the moon. Go towards starshine and meet me at dusk. Tell me how blue you black this body, this whole coliseum of dust. Take my stilled battlefield, pounding rain over bruises, pulsing, now a field of heartbeats. Open the window and let your yester shine in. We, two, exchange whole crops of bright. You make the wind worth swaying to. Here, my ear dip, the brightest point of the constellation you utter with the wet of a tongue-sized interstellar touch. You bring out the sea in me, so wade in this. A slight detour, and then we'll return to more love poems. So this is the first poem in the collection. It's called Wade, Swim, Walk. My first pair of panties floats idly in the sea of memory. Flashes, please, please me. Liquid, eyeliner, pen, black tube of lip stain, mascara, brush, like a clutch of turtles ferreting further from the gauntlet of shore. In the sea, memories, froth and spit, their pebbled laughter. He, 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 he. I stand on the water and walk, lips a glitter over the blue of drowning, heels 3 inches and star-flowered, a pleated orbit of black dress, ring around the moon, earrings, cream of cloud-colored nails. With no wind, my eyes a line with wings. Sure, anything could kill me, given the pollution of galaxy and industry. Sure, you could buffet me with stones, but what when I say I was raised from dust? The next poem is called In Which Our Wants Are Worlds. And so the poem appears in 3 different sections, each on its own page, and each of those sections is its own world, in which the we imagine, the wants of the we become their own universe space. In which our wants are worlds. We have a house in the suburbs, and it is quiet enough here to hear when flowers open their mouths to speak. It is spring. We have 2 kids, and I stopped painting my nails. We have 2 prescription bottles of antidepressants, and your loneliness swallows them all one night. We have a roof that doesn't leak, in a Saturn view of Mercury with squeaky brake pads. Every time we slow down, it sounds like the car is warning. What small nag want? We speed up and our backs press flat against the seats. We speed up and want is the hum of the engine, the street lamps blurring past. We can't move. We bought a vehicle of want. Our hearts rot oppressively in the trunk. You tattoo an arc of I am, want under your left breast. You dye your hair pink. You have your mother's smile and your father's sense of humor. When he yells, your lips flare and sun-scorch the walls, radiating an attractive array of want. I am not a good Chinese boy. Your grandmother cries over dinner, but you say you are very, very happy. I am 8, and the boy I love lives in the attic. I am 8 and covet my sister's flower dress. No one tells me I can't have the boy and the dress. My want lives in marigold fingertips. My want is the god of touch. My want petals in spring and blooms all summer. I'm going to read one more from the book and then last poem to close us out. Okay. So the next poem is called I Love You, But They Won't Stop Killing Us. And for me, it was a space of contending with, like, at the time, me and this person weren't together, but it was written in the space of this relationship that the previous poem reckons with, in which to be a black person in a relationship with a non-black person, there's a contention with the fact that we occupy different we's, but we have a same we. And so the kinds of threats that my collective black we face, this person has some sense of safety from, but also this person provides me with some sense of safety. I love you, but they won't stop killing us. I love you, but the us in the title of this poem is discrete from the us curling on the couch like vines up the weeping fence, its photos, burnished by candlelight farewells, throwing shadows over frozen faces. I love you, but the earth is flat. Far too many of us thrown off the edge, our mothers' cries and curfews caught dead in some infinite well of blackness called space. I love you, but look cliffside, the ash, another celestial body combusting its light. Feel the gone homeostasis in my palms. Watch them twirl electric blue, twine and rope into the night. Capturing the astral shudder on loop, you will ask if I'm okay and say you are scared for me. I love you, lovely little star, with your lovely little palms, pressing sorrow into soil. But why should we get to grow at all? All the while, hearts fall, smitten, acorns at the Adidas superstars in Air Jordans making pistol and pedal of our feet and legs, coiling, shooting, firework, something loud and alive. I love you, I love you, I love you, but I adore infinite us, our brief, brilliant heat, and the other us, our own geography, orbiting the black of space from the sphere of the couch, our little edgeless place. And the next poems they're not in this lovely chapbook. These are poems that I've written after it. But I guess in closing, I want to just also thank this work, these poems. They have literally saved my life and given me a space to locate love and posterity for myself within myself. And even still, I return to these books, to these poems on difficult days, and they just echo in my body. And also these poems allowed me to be here, right? The poems in this manuscript were on my application for this MFA. So thank you so much. Lovely. Okay. So I'm going to read a poem called Nebula Elsewhere. It looks like it's kind of a long poem, but it's in fragments, and so it doesn't, it's not super long. But this poem for me is very much an origin, we could say myth, but an origin story. And I began wanting to chart a kind of constellation. So Araceli Skermai writes about the body as the space between the present body and everything that the body has lost. So figuratively, but also literally, when you lose your hair or pieces of, your skin, you're constantly shedding, that the body is that kind of the lines between all of those spaces. And I ended up doing a different kind of work, but one that still holds a constellatory engine within it. Nebula Elsewhere. Wrong certificate of birth. Freak, freak. Playground in the mind. Little flower girl. Swing, set, dusk. Me, me, me. Doctor says, gosh, where? Draw my blood. Here, here. Red bottle, green throttle. Black blank at the brink of bell. Swing at which I shall. Last earth record of self. Swell, swell, back to yell. When every blood body said freak and hell. You swung off to somewhere else. Ring, ring, flower, knell. Look, girl, leap, well. Unto the nowhere that holds the stars and everything else, hurtling from this trinket orb, gravity neckless to nevermore and ever else neckless. I try to see the hyper-hued faces of now, but the future tense is where I'll bleak, and all the monuments of here go bust along the way. And I am so, so sorry. I am the blank. I am the bleep. I am forever. Rip in the sky. Rip in the family earth. Heave. Hurt. Weave. Her. 2 pink pills. 3 blue pills. Galaxy Grove. Spindle stars. Jasmine. Jasmine. Light. Light, light. Eyes whirl, green. I whirled, green. Black nothing, no clouds. Gas, green. Go, go, girl. Starburst, weave thread thicker than family. I line, line, line. I. 1 was not. 2 tug loop. 3 follow through over through over. 4 the moon construct. 5 to aqueduct dust and tufts. 6 of ring light. 7 my dark face. Swoon water, swoon water, swoon water. And then the world blue begat dabs of red over cheeks, eyes, bottle cap tight, lover arms, cross, clutch, girls, but every world tilts to slosh or drip, to hold. I go, 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 engine, estrogen, supernova hypertrophied girl gender, ring my neck, 13 planets of girl, me in the face, world, me in the face, world. Let there be ma'am in my direction. Light is not the river of my reflection. Please don't he be leaf, she stream, me unstoppered green. Flowers girl in swing sets, play ground in a grove of galaxy, a girl in space. another name for gravity. Whew. Okay, one last poem, and so before I get into it, I just want to say again, thank you so much to everyone for being here. It's so cold outside, and y'all are here, and that is tremendous. And I write very much with the aspiration of not only holding myself and my body in its fullest possibilities, but you, to every kind of body and heart that it touches, I want to hold you in your fullest possibility as well. And so that I hope that you feel affirmed and encouraged tonight, and that you love fiercely and persistently yourself. Of devotion, angel. Layers deep in song, my heart sounds like a melodic siren, thin as rope, the smallest girl jumping by the second. Cover your ears with the sound of my body, slapped with pavement, ambling, graceful as it can, the reverse gospel of grooves, jukes, planes, angles. My heart would angel of devotion. Can you hear the plea pumped in ecstatic gestures of will, like will to live, like one day I will be cut open, rearranged, and put back together. This is the sound of blood having done its best, now at the edge of a cliff or a knife, waiting for the right moment to fall in stereo. My heart gives and does not give, in or out or up, squeezing by the second, a future I will live, yes, in page and screen, and to inform, yes, a skeleton rivered, and yes, 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 my body is a future ringing with yes, is, yes, yes, my body is a future, yes, a skeleton rivered in yes, in page and screen, and to inform a future I will live, yes, in or out or up, squeezing by the second, my heart gives and does not give, moment to fall in stereo, waiting for the right of a cliff or a knife, having done its best now at the edge and put back together. This is the sound of blood. I will be cut open, rearranged of will, like will to live, like one day. Can you hear the plea pumped in ecstatic gestures of devotion? My heart would angel of grooves, jukes, planes, angles, graceful as it can, the reverse gospel slapped with pavement, ambling. Cover your ears with the sound of my body, the smallest girl jumping by the second, like a melodic siren, thin as rope, layers deep in song, my heart sounds of devotion. Angel. Thank you all so much. Please get me.